Welcome to the Compass for Being Human, where we educate the ego, emotions, and philosophy for men. Today I want to talk about something uncomfortable but necessary. Not about being a good guy, not about having the right opinions or saying the right things, but about responsibility, about what it actually means to be a good man when no one is clapping, no one is watching, and no one is keeping score. Because one of the biggest misunderstandings in modern masculinity is the idea that good intentions are enough. They aren't. Intention explains behavior, but responsibility addresses impact. And adulthood begins at the point where we stop confusing the two. A lot of men rely on the phrase, "I didn't mean to," as if it's a moral full stop, as if accidental harm doesn't count. But harm doesn't disappear because it wasn't planned. If you step on someone's foot by accident, you don't argue about your intentions. You step off and apologize. Emotional harm works the same way. Being a good man isn't about never hurting anyone. That's impossible. It's about what you do when you realize you have. Do you listen? Do you repair? Do you change? Or do you explain, minimize, and defend? Because the moment you prioritize your comfort over the impact you've had, you've centered yourself again. This is where a lot of men get stuck, especially around something called weaponized incompetence. And no, this isn't about intelligence or capability. It's about avoidance. It's about pretending not to know, doing things poorly so someone else takes over, or claiming confusion when responsibility shows up. It's not ignorance. It's moral laziness. It's the refusal to grow in areas that don't offer status, praise, or control. Many men are taught competence in work and helplessness in emotional or domestic life, and that creates dependency disguised as innocence. But dependence without accountability isn't partnership. It's burden shifting. A good man does not ask to be managed. There's a version of masculinity that prides itself on being easygoing, laid back, or low maintenance. But often that just means someone else is carrying the mental load. Someone else is planning, remembering, anticipating, regulating. And if you benefit from that while telling yourself you're harmless, you're not being kind, you're being passive. Being nice is passive. Being good is active. Nice avoids conflict. Good takes responsibility. Nice wants approval. Good wants integrity. You can be gentle and still solid. You can be kind and still capable. Responsibility doesn't start with policing others or adopting the right language. It starts with the self, with emotional regulation, with reactions, with habits, with the way you move through shared spaces. You are not responsible for what you were never taught, but you are responsible for what you do once you know. Freedom without responsibility turns into entitlement. Responsibility without self-hatred turns into dignity. This is where real strength lives. Not in dominance, but in reliability. Emotional responsibility is often misunderstood, especially by men who were taught that feelings are either dangerous or embarrassing. Emotional responsibility does not mean suppression, it means ownership. Your feelings are real, but they are not instructions. Being emotionally responsible means processing instead of projecting, responding instead of reacting, and taking care of your inner world so it doesn't spill out onto others. No one owes you emotional labor just because you're overwhelmed. Learning to self-regulate is part of becoming trustworthy. And trust is where character shows up. Character is not what you say about yourself. It's what leaks through when you're tired, inconvenienced, or unobserved. People sense congruence or the lack of it very quickly, especially women. This is important to say clearly because many men misunderstand attraction at a fundamental level. Attraction is not built on chaos, bravado, or surface-level confidence. Research on long-term attraction consistently shows that emotional stability, reliability, empathy, and consistency matter far more than unpredictability or thrill-seeking. Safety is not the opposite of passion. It's the foundation of it. A man who takes responsibility without being asked, who repairs without being forced, who listens without defensiveness, and who can sit with discomfort instead of avoiding it, that man radiates safety, and safety is deeply attractive. Personality matters more than aesthetics in the long run, and personality is not abstract. It shows up physically. Chronic bitterness tightens the face. Entitlement changes posture. Resentment shows in tone, in patience, in the way someone occupies space. On the other hand, emotional maturity softens the eyes, steadies the body, and creates ease. Character shapes appearance over time, whether we like it or not. This is why performative goodness fails. Doing the bare minimum to look good is not the same as being good. Apologizing without changing is not growth. Agreeing without acting is not integrity. This is moral minimalism, doing just enough to avoid criticism while refusing transformation. Wholehearted goodness asks a different question. Not, am I allowed to stop here? But what's actually needed? It replaces defensiveness with curiosity and passivity with initiative. Patriarchy teaches men to seek power over others instead of peace within themselves. It rewards dominance, not introspection. But if your sense of self depends on being needed, feared, admired, or excused, then it isn't strength, it's dependency. The strongest men are not those who conquer others. They are the ones who have learned to face their inner world without running, without outsourcing the work, and without demanding praise for basic responsibility. Being a good man is not about perfection. It's about participation, about staying present when it would be easier to disengage, about choosing growth when avoidance is available, about taking responsibility not because you're being watched, but because it's who you are. And the truth is, the world doesn't need more men trying to look good. It needs men who are actually good in their homes, in their relationships, in their silence, and in the small, unglamorous moments where character is built. If this resonated with you, take it seriously, not as self-criticism, but as an invitation, because responsibility is not a punishment. It's the pathway to becoming someone others don't have to manage, and someone you can actually respect when you're alone with yourself. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.